Hello, welcome to the presentation on studying abroad through the College of Communications for 2022 and beyond. I'm Dr. Dean Kozlay and I'm the director of the Maxwell Center for International Communications. We're basically the people that manage and coordinate many of the study abroad opportunities for communication students in the College of Communications. Now you're probably like me. A year ago you didn't think that a year later that we would be here still in the middle of a pandemic that shut down most of our society and economy, and has basically shut down international travel and with it, study abroad. But the good news is that pandemic is starting to wane. And as we move into the next school year, you're going to find opportunities for studying abroad. Now in this presentation, I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 main categories of information. First, I'm going to talk about the need for you the communication student, to study abroad. Why it's important, why you need to do that to be competitive in your field, especially in a global economy. Second, I'm going to talk about the many opportunities that are available for you to study abroad through the College of Communications, through CSUF, and through the CSU system. Now, before I start, and before we get into these, I want to say one thing about the opportunities that we've built. We understand you. We understand your abilities. We understand, for example, the opportunities you can take advantage of, and we understand the barriers you might face. What I'm saying is this, is that some of you may be thinking that I can't afford to study abroad. What I'm going to tell you is that we've built many low-cost study abroad opportunities. Some of you may say, I don't have the time to study abroad. Well, what you're going to find is that you're going to find 1 week, 2 week, 4 week, semester, and year-long programs. In other words, there's a program to fit everybody's level of availability. Now, last but not least, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to stress 2 very important things. The first is that I want you to basically to remain calm. I want you to remain patient. The idea is that there are going to be opportunities for studying abroad that are going to be coming out in the next year or 2. What I'm saying is I want you to stay basically patient, to stay safe. The idea is that you're probably at this point in time being bombarded by emails from study abroad companies that use the CSUF email list to basically go ahead and market study abroad opportunities to communication students. Well, the reality is that many countries around the world still aren't accepting Americans. So what I'm saying is this, that we're going to talk about many opportunities, and these opportunities are through our school, through the CSU. But you may be hit with messages from others that basically they make a living off of studying abroad. And what I'm going to say is, again, I want you to be patient and stay safe. In other words, my advice is that you should wait until either the spring of 22 or even the summer of 22 before you're considering any type of study abroad. So enjoy the presentation. At the end of the presentation, I'll give you my contact information. I'll give you website information where you can find information on all the wonderful programs that are available and open to you. So if you're watching this presentation, you're probably wondering, why study abroad? Several reasons. The first is jobs. In the era of globalization, America's been losing jobs. The reality is that in today's global economy, if you want advancement, you're going to be competing with foreign professionals. Professionals, for example, from Europe, who often speak 2, 3, or 4 languages, and easily basically have access to things like international internships. Now, if you're thinking that you may not have to worry about competing with foreign professionals, think about competing with your American peers. Believe it or not, today 30% of private university students take part in an international experience. Several years ago, I was also told by several of my alum that when they had gone for internships to the East Coast in large PR firms, they found out that to just get an entry-level job in those firms, that those firms, like Edelman, for example, required an international internship. Now, if you're wondering how that's possible, it's simple. They're in the Northeast, which is the home of a large number of course, private universities. So the bottom line is this. If you want to make yourself competitive in the job market, you want to think about studying abroad and doing an international internship. Last but not least, another reason is because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's a chance for fun and adventure. You're going to grow personally. You're going to develop. Now, I know that many of you don't think about your lives after college, but the truth is that this may be the only time you're going to have time to go spend time abroad. So take advantage of the time you have in college now and definitely study abroad. I've been working to study abroad for over 25 years. And when I meet with students and I talk with them, I often hear them repeat many of the same myths. For example, I hear them say, I can't go abroad. I'm not fluent in another language. Or they say, studying abroad is expensive. I could never afford it. Some also might say to me, I can't get major communication link classes, so I can't go abroad. And many others believe that if I go abroad, I'm not going to be able to find courses that count towards my graduation. These are all myths. Here are some common answers to frequently asked questions. Will these courses count towards your CommLink majors and degrees? Yes, yes they will. Do you need to know a foreign language? No. Most programs, all courses are in English. Will you make progress towards graduation? Yes, yes you will. Can I use financial aid? Actually, with all these programs, they qualify for financial aid. Are these programs expensive? Not all of them. Many are actually low cost. Some actually cost a bit less than going to a semester at Cal State Fullerton. And last but not least, do I need a year to study abroad? No. We've got semester programs. We've got 1 week, 2 week, and 4 week programs. There's a wide variety of programs that can basically fit your schedules. In the College of Communications, we're doing our part to help prepare programs for you. We've got a number of semester programs. While true, right now everything is on hold, everything is in hiatus. In a normal semester, for example, you're going to find semester-based programs through the College of Communications in places like South Korea, Norway, Austria. There's also opportunities at times for programs in Florence, Italy, and Austria, and an excellent exchange program in France. During regular times, we also have intersession programs, for example, in Ensenada, Mexico. This is basically a 3-week course with 1 week in Ensenada. Last but not least, again, we have summer programs. Now, we're planning the programs right now for summer 2022, but the reality is we often have programs in places like Greece, Italy, Spain, and there's an excellent internship opportunity in Austria. One of our best and most popular programs is in South Korea. It's called DIMA, the Donga Institute of Media and Arts. By the way, Donga just means East Asia. Now, when you think of Korea, you might be thinking of Seoul, and basically DIMA is in a far-flung southern suburb of Seoul. You know, Seoul and Ansung are modern cities. What's amazing about Korea is they're technologically ahead of the US. The idea is they have real 5G. That means downloading a movie, for example, in 30 seconds to a minute. That means watching television on a phone, and even the cheapest phone will get 4 to 5 channels. The other part about Korea is the people are incredible. They're friendly, they're cultured, and they love Americans. DIMA isn't just a media and arts school. DIMA is actually the top media and arts school in Korea. Believe it or not, if you're a fan of K-pop, many famous K-pop bands and K-pop stars come out of DIMA. Additionally, many famous singers in Korea come out of DIMA, as do television and movie actors. Again, this is the top media and arts school in Korea. If you look at the image on the left, that isn't a soundstage. Rather, that's just a classroom. Now, the image on the right gives you a couple of pictures of their campus. It's a fairly large campus set on a beautiful mountain. But if you look at the picture on the bottom right, what you're going to find is their quad. You'll notice you'll feel right at home. On one side, you basically have 7-Eleven. On the right, you've got New York Hot Dog. And in the middle, you've got a coffee shop. And believe it or not, coffee is even more popular in Korea than it is in the US. Well, I mentioned earlier that it's a media and arts school. They boast one of the biggest film studios on a college campus and one of the biggest studios in Asia. Schools in the US might boast, for example, that they have a 5,000 square foot soundstage or a 3,500 square foot soundstage. At DIMA, the soundstage, the biggest one, is 19,000 square feet. This is a modern, advanced film studio that's basically booked almost year-round with filmmaking. Here's some of the facts about the program at DIMA in South Korea. The cost is about $4,800 to $5,000 a year, and that includes your room and board. All your courses are in English. Now, when you're there, you're going to take required and clinical courses. For example, you may take courses in video production, audio production, on making documentaries. Research methods is sometimes taught, as is photography, and in media ethics. Most importantly, every student who goes will get an internship, whether that's Comm or CTVA 495. All study abroad locations aren't created equal, and one of the most beautiful places in Europe is Austria, Salzburg, Austria. If you've ever seen the movie The Sound of Music, you've seen Salzburg because it was filmed in that city. The best news is Salzburg College, our partner, is in the middle of the old city. Every day you wake up surrounded by the city from the sound of music to see the castle up on the hill. If you go there, you're going to be studying in Austria. It's the name of the school, Salzburg College, and they're in the center of Europe. Now, what that's going to mean is that on the weekends, which you always have free because they give you time, they want you to travel, you're going to be able to go to nearby places like Vienna. You can go to Budapest. You can go to Prague. 5 hours south by it, for example, is Venice. They want you to travel, and you're in the perfect location to do so. All the courses, again, are in English. You can study communications. You can study public relations. You can take some GEs. Courses include things like international PR, European campaigns, intercultural communication, photography. You also can take courses in German and things like Austrian civilization. Last but not least, they offer an incredible internship program which meets the requirements for Comm and RTVF 495. Here's some of the details about Salzburg. A semester costs about $13,000. This is definitely more expensive than CSUF, but this is a private college. Now the real deal here is the summer cost. Understand that that's about $7,300 to $7,500, and that's for 12 weeks in the center of Europe. That includes your tuition, and it includes room and board. In other words, for almost 3 months, or basically 3 months, you're living in the middle of Europe, and that includes your internship. Now, during the regular term, this will be 9 to 15 units plus tuition, and in the summer, you get 9, including the internship, and both include room and board. Again, I want to stress, at Salzburg College, every course is going to be in English. There's going to be incredible food, and you're going to be able to live with the host family and be able to practice your German. But the best part is, you're not only in the middle of Austria, but you're in the middle of Salzburg. One of the best opportunities on the CSUF campus to study abroad is actually the London program through the College of Humanities. These are courses that are taught at the London Student Union. Courses include, for example, Humanities 350, British Life and Culture, Art 311, Foundations of Modern Art. You can learn about global cuisines and about world politics. And again, you get the internship. Now, this is what's important to note here. This is only about $8,000. That's for a homestay. And about $9,200 to $9,500 for an apartment. But the idea is you're in the middle of London and you're getting CSUF courses and CSUF credit, and they're counting towards those GEs and your major requirements. On the next few slides, we're going to highlight some exciting locations. But the best news is these are all considered low-cost study abroad. In many cases, studying at these universities in places like France, for example, or Mexico won't cost you much more, if not less, than studying at CSUF. In study abroad, sometimes you've got hidden gems. These are incredible schools in very beautiful locations. This is Schema. It's in Annapolis, Sofia, France. Now, what you don't get from that name is this is right basically on the Mediterranean. If you've ever heard of the French Riviera, thinking of places like Monaco, for example, this is nearby. All the courses at Schema are in English, and that number isn't a typo. It costs somewhere between $3,600 to $3,800 a semester to study there. If you've ever heard of Cannes, that's also nearby. Courses here include things like Introduction to Film, Visual Communication. There's Advertising and PR classes, Intercultural Comm. There are courses in Technologies. And at times, there's also Travel and Tourism courses. Along with Mexico and South Korea, Norway is one of my favorite countries in the world. I've spent a lot of time there, and I've always very much enjoyed it. Volda University in Volda, Norway gives you a chance to study in a beautiful setting. If you like the outdoors, for example, hiking and skiing, you want to basically go here. This little town is set on the fjords of Norway. The cost here is low, about $3,500 to about $4,000 a semester. Courses include Introduction to Film, Visual Communication, Humanities courses, basically Gen Eds, English Literature, History, Technologies and Communication, and Theater. They've actually got a pretty good journalism program here. Now, one last thing. I know a lot about this school. Why? Because when my daughter was at Cal State Fullerton, she actually went and was one of our first students to study abroad in Volda, Norway. This is a newer opportunity, and once basically the COVID quarantine is lifted, this is going to be a popular destination. This is Tec de Monterrey in Guadalajara, Mexico. Now, if you've never been to Guadalajara, you need to go. The food is incredible, the city is beautiful, and the people are really friendly. Again, all the courses are in English. This is a beautiful modern campus with many new buildings and many new facilities. The cost, only about $3,000 to $3,500 a semester. Courses here include mass communications, journalism, film, and technologies in communication. When I visited Tec de Monterrey in Guadalajara, one of the things that really caught my attention was how new and beautiful the campus was. Here's some examples of some of the buildings. And the best part for you as a student is that the living facilities and the residences halls on the campus are just as nice. As we mentioned, some students really don't have the time to travel abroad due to either work or family commitments, and so we often try to build shorter programs. This is an example. This is a 1-week travel program in Ensenada, Mexico. It's a 3-week course, 2 weeks at CSUF, 1 week in Ensenada, and the focus is international PR. This program is also extremely low cost because credit is being run through CETIS University, which is WASC approved, and the credit is approved to be transferred back to CSUF. This is a fun program. You experience all the activities that a tourist would because you're working on a tourism campaign. Now, this might be offered a slight chance in 2022, but most likely the next offering will be in intersession 2023. So this is a program, if you're interested in a short-term study abroad, that you might want to have on your radar. Next, we're going to talk about some of the summer programs that we're looking at for summer 2022. Please understand, when we're planning these programs, we're always thinking of your utmost safety and what's going to be convenient for you. These programs are tentative and they're pending. They're awaiting things like college approval. They're awaiting removal of COVID-19 restrictions. Now, also understand that there may be newer programs that may be on the way. So what we'd like you to do is to put these on your radar and contact us if you are interested. When we ask students where they'd like to travel, they often say the traditional countries, such as Greece and Italy. In this case, we've got a fantastic program that goes to Greece in the summer. In this program, you'll get several courses, including a GE, Intercultural Common and Feature Writing. This is a 3-week course. You have 1 week at CSUF and then 2 weeks in Greece. Now, the cost is only approximately $5,000. That includes 6 units of credit, airfare, hotel, and many meals. Actually, another advantage of this trip is it includes admission to many museums and even a 1-day cruise to some islands that are near Athens. As we mentioned, when we survey students, they say they prefer to go to places such as Spain, Greece, Italy, and France. Here's a pending program in Barcelona, Spain. This is a 1-month study abroad opportunity where students learn how to basically produce international reality TV. At the same time, they take intercultural communications, which counts as an upper division category GE. In this case, we've picked a wonderful hotel. Students stay at the beautiful Student Hotel Barcelona. The other nice thing about this program is the cost is very affordable. The cost for air, hotel, and tuition is approximately $5,800, which, considering that it's in the middle of the summer in the middle of Europe, it's very inexpensive. When you start thinking about going to study abroad, we want you to think big. We want you to go beyond maybe perhaps that flyer you saw in the communication building hallway or the program mentioned in your communication class. You can start by looking at CSUF Study Abroad and Global Engagement Office. They've got a wide variety of programs. And best of all, if you're taking courses through this program, you're going to have a good idea of what counts and what doesn't before you go abroad. Here's just a sample of some of the basic communication-based programs. Understand, in all of these locations, what you're going to find is that GEs are available as well as communication-specific discipline. When we mentioned the idea of thinking big doesn't mean thinking limited. In this case, as you can see from a snapshot of the website from CSUF and CSU IP, you can see that countries available include places like Norway, South Korea, Sweden, France, and the UK. Now, we've been mentioning the idea of taking programs to the CSU IP, which is basically Cal State University International Program System. Now, there's something new about it, and this is why you likely haven't heard about it in our campus before. You see, before the last year, before the pandemic, students couldn't travel to CSU IP for anything less than 1 year. Now, the reality was that when we sat down with most students, when we looked at what they could use to graduate, they really couldn't fit a year's worth of courses into the program, which meant that they often lost half to 3/4 of the units that they obtained abroad. But now that changed. Now the CSU IP is offering semester programs in many locations, including places like Sweden, like the UK and in France. This program in Paris, France, is a wonderful program that offers a wide variety of opportunities for communication students. And best of all, many of them now are only one semester. Here's an excellent communications program that students over the years have found to be interesting, exciting, and valuable. It's basically in Germany at Stuttgart, and it's the Hochschule der Medien in Stuttgart, Germany. Now, the nice thing is that Stuttgart is in the middle of Europe. What that means is that during the week, you can study communications. You can study media, but then on the weekends, you can travel by train, which is inexpensive, and explore most of Europe. The other nice thing about thinking big with CSUF Study Abroad Office is that they can actually link you to perhaps programs that aren't offered through CSUF or this CSU. The idea is that you may have an interest in going to a country where the CSU or CSUF doesn't have an established program. In this case, these are programs that the Study Abroad Office has worked with before and that they vetted. If you'd like more information on the programs offered through CSUF or the broader CSUIP, you can find information on the web. But if you'd like even more information or talk to somebody, you can actually sign up for advising at the Study Abroad and Global Engagement website. They allow you to even set up appointments so you can pick a time that's convenient for you. We'd also like to have some of you start to think bigger, and that word is Fulbright. Many of you may have heard of the Fulbright program. This is one of the top international study abroad programs in the world. The idea is that you apply and become a Fulbright scholar. This is often for graduating seniors or for graduate students. You basically get to travel to another country and study abroad, working on perhaps a research project, maybe working on a creative project, but you get to spend a year abroad paid for by the US government. That's correct. They pay for everything. They pay for your room, your board, your tuition, all your expenses. They'll even pay the cost for you to get to the airport. We've had very few students from CSUF ever apply to these programs, and now it's time, with the end of the pandemic in sight, that you start thinking about such programs. The idea is you're already thinking big, why not think bigger? If other students can qualify, so can you. Here's some information from the Fulbright website. Notice again, this is for graduating seniors or students working on basically master's degrees or graduate degrees, or they can also work on creative projects. The idea is these are programs that are designed for students like you. Over the many years that I've been sending CSUF students abroad, I usually have to answer at least 2 or 3 common questions. One of the most common, how much is this going to cost? And then students wonder how they'll be able to afford it. From the Fulbright site, this tells you that basically this award pays for everything. Everything is taken care of, basically from transportation to tuition to a stipend for room board, and even to cover the cost of insurance while you're abroad. If you're watching this presentation, we know you're at least thinking about going abroad. Now we know that many of you are ready to travel. You're tired of being cooped up. And we know you want to go abroad, but when you start your planning, a few tips. The first one, and maybe the most important, be patient. It's better safe than sorry when it comes to COVID and travel. The idea is that we may be lifting some of our restrictions here in California. In some parts of the US, they're still feeling the hard-hitting impacts of COVID. In many parts of the world, they may not be vaccinating even 25 to 30% of their populations until early 2022. That means that in many locations, you're not going to see the lifting of restrictions, and you may not be able to travel. The idea is simple. Stay safe, stay healthy. At the same time, be careful when companies promise, for example, that they can guarantee you get to study abroad in a foreign country, for example, in fall 2021 or the spring of 2022. The truth is that if that country's not open, you're not going. And you may have to fight to basically get back your deposits or a refund on an air ticket. So the bottom line is be patient. Better safe than sorry. Another suggestion, explore multiple options. We've built many options for you here within the College of Communications. Similarly, our Study Abroad office, located in Titan Hall,
also has a wide number of options, and I've mentioned some of these to you. Third, think about within the CSU. CSUIP also now is offering, for the first time ever, semester-based programs, and they've got many communication-based programs. The idea is explore all your options. Last couple. First, be realistic on what it costs. Many students might see a number and say, that's all I'm going to need. The reality is, if you're going to live abroad for a semester, plan on doing some traveling. Plan on maybe, living a little better than you might normally, going out with friends, for example. Seeing local sites, seeing local restaurants. The idea is it often costs more than you're going to think. Now, last but not least, think big. This may be your only opportunity to spend time abroad. You've got time now, you're a student. So if you're thinking about doing this, you should do it. And if you're going to do it now.
I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. If you'd like more information on one of the programs that you saw outlined in this presentation or have questions, there's a wide variety of resources for you to get that information. You could start by going to our commstudyabroad.com website, which is our college website for study abroad. You could contact me, Dr. Dean Cazzolea, at the email address listed below. You could visit or email the Communications Advising Center, which is located in the second floor of College Park. Additionally, you can also get much more information from the CSUF International Studies Office, which is located in Titan Hall, or their website. At that Teradata website, as listed below, you'll find information about all of the programs that we've talked about. You'll find information about programs that across CSUF, and you'll also find information on all the CSUIP programs that we've talked about that have just now become available as semester options. Whatever you choose, know that studying abroad is an experience you'll never forget. It's going to help you grow educationally. It's going to help you grow professionally and be more competitive in a global economy. And it'll truly be an experience that you won't forget over a lifetime.